Monkey D. Luffy. And I'm gonna be king of the pirates.
One of the more maligned genres of adaptation into live action is the manga or anime series. Whether you talk about things like Ghost in the Shell or Cowboy Bebop, or even the atrocities of Dragon Ball or Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I understand why studios want to adapt anime or manga series that have a rich, loyal, deep fan base. And if you do it right, you are going to make some money. I personally have never watched an episode of One Piece. Now, I know about it in passing, but I know nothing of the story. But I know that if you're going to adapt an anime or manga, you have to be on point in your world building and in the characters and in the story. Because if you're not, you wasted time, money, and you'll incur the wrath of a rabid fan base. So be on point, see what's going on with it. So let's see if Netflix screwed up like so many before them, or have they gotten a rare anime manga win? Now, since I was never a big anime fan, and this world seems to be surrounding the temperamental fantasy genre, I'm going to consider myself a casual on this particular review. Why do I mention that? Because I think you should know whether your reviewer is just a casual viewer and they're not into the genre, or if they're part of the main target audience for this and they have a different perspective. So you get that perspective with me up front, casual viewer on this one. You see, I go and actually watch the first 2 episodes of brand new content on streaming platforms to see if they're right for you. I watch so you don't have to. If you like how that sounds, do me a favor, click like, share, subscribe. And now, let's get into this review. One Piece is an action-adventure comedy that premiered on Netflix in August of 2023. It has 8 episodes in its first season, each about 55 minutes. Now, it stars Inaki Godoy as carefree good pirate Monkey D. Luffy, Emily Rudd as the sketchy thief Nami, and I want to say his name is McHenry as the demon pirate hunter Rowana Zoro. The story goes like this. In a seafaring world, a young pirate captain sets out with his crew to attain the title of Pirate King and to discover the mythical treasure known as the One Piece. So that's the story that we have for this bad boy. You know what type of genre it is. You got who's acting in it. Now, what I want to do is I want to give you some of my expectations as a casual viewer, and then we're going to break this bad boy down. So my expectations as a casual viewer is, first and foremost, do a very good job world building. I need to understand what's going on in this world. What are the rules of it? You know, if it's magic and mystical or things like that, how do things work? If there's superpowers, if there's economy and commerce or anything like that, I have to be able to wrap my head around that and do it in a way that's sufficient, that makes sense to me, so I can go and actually buy into the world. Nothing more frustrating to a casual viewer than viewing this type of series and not understanding the world. You're just lost and you lose interest. Second, you've got to give me characters to root for and against. I have to really know, because in a fantasy type of genre, it can be really easy to go and actually make it murky of who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. So I really need to go and actually have that defined for me of who am I rooting for and who am I against. So that'll help me kind of wrap my head around the morals and the story of what this world is like. Hopefully that makes sense. And then the third thing on there is, obviously, you have to have good action, you have to have good comedy. If your fantasy world is built up on fights and battles and things like that, have them be good. Action's got to be intriguing, got to have good choreography, special effects, all that kind of good stuff. And if you're going to throw comedy in there, make it fun. Make it, I don't know if it's going to be raunchy, if it's going to be lighthearted or whatever, but the comedy has to be timely, relatable, all that kind of good stuff. So, we have our expectations as a casual viewer, which I am. Now, let me go ahead and actually dive deeper into this and give you a little bit more about One Piece. There is a lot to like about the world that is built here. As long as you like pirates, boats, weird superpowers, and or sword fighting, you're gonna find something to glob onto. Now, if you're someone who likes modern or future age settings, this is not going to be for you. We're kind of looking back at a past pirate-esque seafaring type of swashbuckling type of atmosphere in there. So, if you're looking for something like in the future or whatever, that's not what this is for you. But in this particular world, we get the unusual powers of like a stretchy dude. There's a dude that can disassemble himself and put himself back together. We got a dude for axe for a hand. And I'm sure there's weirder dudes in there or women or what have you. But in the first two episodes, you meet these kinds of folks on there. So you know how crazy it's going to get. But we also get swashbuckling sword fights. We have a little bit of martial arts. We have naval battles. So in the fantastical realm of things, it's a hit. It's going to go ahead and actually get outrageous and get bombastic as far as what they're dealing with in the series. Now, the story is are cartoonish as you can get because everyone wants this mythical treasure and they're all going for it. And it could easily kind of fall into like a MacGuffin type of category, as I believe the kind of treasure is supposed to be kind of like a MacGuffin. Meaning the real treasure in all of this is probably going to be in the journey to find it. And I just, in my context of just reading, only going actually viewing two episodes, I just think that the One Piece is meant to symbolize the journey of being together and being a pirate and all that kind of good stuff or whatever. Everybody's kind of missing the big motif on it. And so that's kind of my thought process of where that whole theme is going. Nobody exemplifies this more than Luffy. Okay, he's a good-natured young dude who he labels himself, I'm a different kind of pirate. He does good deeds. He's constantly looking for new crew members and friends. His character is what moves the story from a decent fantasy adventure to one that you feel like cheering for. So his character and who he is and how he develops and things of that nature is kind of is a differentiation between this kind of being just an average fantastical adventure into something different. Now, some of the dialogue is eye rolling as it's kind of over the top, but there's also great lessons in life that just kind of hit you out of nowhere and they make you smile. It's nothing better than to go and actually just hear some of the cheesy dialogue, corny dialogue, whatever, and then they hit you with something because of the moment. You're just like, wow, that just hit me. I didn't expect to learn anything there or like this or whatever, and it just hits you.
If the path seems too easy, then you're on the wrong path.
So that particular aspect of things is going to give casuals a lot of things to grab onto in regards to the story, dialogue, pacing, all that kind of good stuff. In regards to the acting, Inaki Godoy, I'm not sure if that's how the young man's name is pronounced, but we'll go with that. As Luffy and McIntyre, McKinney. All right. Inaki Godoy as Luffy and McKinney as Zoro are extremely fun. They are antithesis of each other, but Luffy's good nature and Zoro's inanely commitment to honor really kind of bring those characters out, and I like both of the characters. Now, Rudd as Nami is decent, and while Luffy and Zoro's characters are who they are and they've worked through their issues, Nami appears to be dealing with internal conflict, at least for the first two episodes. And so Rudd is doing a decent job on the character, but it's not a great performance. But, maybe there's going to be something there later on or what have you. But she does a decent job. The rest of the cast is pretty decent and does a good service in making the stories believable. Also, I give special shout out to Colton Osario as young Luffy and Peter Gadawit as Shanks. They did great jobs in flashback scenes. There was some very good scenes in there that I really liked in the flashbacks. So hats off to them. But as far as the acting is better. It's better than average for me. Okay. Some other thoughts that I have on this series. The action in here is excellent, especially when you think about the original content is in animation. To live up to the over-the-top fights and superpowers that have to be on display is a big challenge. And I feel the showrunners did that. The characters have some awesome powers, and there's great choreo that goes along with the special effects as well as with the hand-to-hand combats. And translations of comic to live action work to me. So it seems to me that this is still the over-the-top factor of it, but getting in some good martial arts. I would very much liken it to the crazy zaniness of, like, say, a Kung Fu Hustle, that type of thing, where they have very cartoonish mannerisms or what have you, but there's some good martial arts in there as well. So very much like that aspect of it. Now, for the comedy, there were no like laugh out loud moments for me, but I did crack a smile a few different times, and so this is a fun one to review in regards to comedy. But now I've got given you all that stuff as far as my general thoughts on it. What's my verdict for this? For main target audience members, meaning that people are fans of One Piece, fans of manga series, fans of like fantasy adventure types of series or films, I'm going to tell you, binge this whole first season. I know very little of the original content, but when I see pictures online, I see it in the series. The two look very similar. When I see the absurd powers in the series, I know you only include that because of the source material. And when I factor in good action, likable characters, including a couple bad guys that already get on your nerves, I'm going to say that mains will like this, probably even love it. The only question is if the story sticks close to the original source material, and that I can't tell you because I'm not sure how close it is as far as relation of the characters and the overarching storyline, other than the One Piece and things like that. So I don't know how close they're sticking to the storyline. But from what I'm getting out of this particular series just independently, is that this is adapted very well. It looks and feels great on there. For casuals, I'm going to say watch 2 episodes. I'm giving you plenty of opinions, but the main one is this. The character Luffy is what that world and our own world needs more of. Someone who has seen difficulty, strife, and the worst of humanity, and they still choose to smile and pursue their dreams, and they're willing to make friends and help people along the way. Trust me, watching a couple of these episodes will make you smile and you will not regret it. So again, for main target audience members, I'm going to say binge out the first season. For casual viewers, watch the first 2 episodes. And that's what I have for One Piece on Netflix. Check it out.
This is our fight. Until we find the One Piece.
You stay for the entire review. I appreciate you. I love you. Go ahead and might as well hit that like and that subscribe button, all that kind of good stuff. Just help me continue to grow my channel because we're getting bigger every single day. You could even watch one of these other videos that the algorithm thinks that you might like of mine. But until the next review, I'll holla at you. Take care of yourself.